We are back with episode 2 of Goated vs. Garbage. Go and check out episode 1 if you haven't already, as I covered cars on there that I won't be covering today, so don't be in the comments wondering where your favorite car is. I probably already talked about it in episode 1. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with the Mazda Miata, an absolute classic for car enthusiasts and most people's first project cars. This should go without saying, Miatas are goated. They're not fast at all, but that's the fun in them. You could make them fast, or you could drive them fast. See, Miatas, you mainly see Miatas with a lot of girls who I guess got into cars because their boyfriends are into them, or people who are relatively new to cars who just looked up on Google what's the best project car for a new enthusiast, and then the Miata was the first thing that popped up, so they just went with that. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that in the slightest. A Miata is a perfect choice for those who want to get into cars, but they don't want to break the bank, and they don't want a high horsepower car like a Corvette or a Mustang. Just be careful on who and where you buy your Miatas from, because people are jacking up the prices of them, and honestly they're nowhere, like, they're not in the condition for these people to be, upcharging them like this. But people will do what people will do, so just keep an eye out and try to get the best deal that you possibly can. The next car is the Toyota Supra. In my underrated 90s edition video, which feel free to check out, by the way, we have the Toyota Supra. I love this car and how it looks, but frankly it is a very overrated car. All the hype, or at least most of it, comes from the Fast and Furious movies, especially the ones with Paul Walker in them. Rest in peace to the GOAT. I went back and forth with an individual who wasn't happy that I said the Toyota Supra is overrated. He said I knew absolutely nothing about cars, and that I hope in the next video, in his words, I educate myself before making another horrific video. Let me just get something straight. First off, I never said that I was this car guru who knows everything about cars. I've literally said, word for word, that I'm just an idiot who happens to like cars. And this also proves my point in that video, that Supra fans are still out there, and they're as insufferable as they've always been. On that note, this horrific video is just for you, bud. Toyota Supras are overrated, but it's obvious to anyone who doesn't know cars like myself that Supras are goated. The two JZ are incredible engines that were truly ahead of their times, but the Supras, in my opinion, still get more credit than they deserve. Not to mention, people are listing these cars at prices that rival supercars, which is absolutely ridiculous, considering Supras are not, have never been, and never will be supercars. Let me just say this. I am not saying Supras are bad cars. I am just saying that they are overrated. If that still ruffles your feathers, then I don't know what to tell you. And I'm going to stand on business once again and say the exact same thing for the Nissan Skylines. Skylines are goated. They're the most iconic JDM car ever made, aside from the Supra, and so popular that every kid at some point in their lives has wanted one, even me. But I grew out of that phase, but unfortunately not everyone else has. Skylines, specifically the R34 Skylines, are extremely overrated cars in my opinion. Again, this does not mean they are bad cars. I can't believe I had to make this clear, but it couldn't be helped. I love the R35 GTRs, and while others would say those are more overrated than the R34s, I personally would disagree. Now, the price tag is a bit outrageous, but you get what you pay for. Even so, I cannot justify the R34 price tag no matter how much I try. At least with the R35, you get a twin turbocharged V6 with about 600 something horsepower. Those are about 100k, give or take. But the R34 is about double, hell, even triple that price depending on where you look. These are collector cars now, which is a damn shame, as I believe cars are meant to be driven and pushed to their limits, not sitting in a garage to look pretty as decoration. You're probably thinking, this guy just doesn't like JDM cars, as he says all the popular ones are overrated, which I'm not going to say is a complete lie, but it's also not exactly the truth. A car that is absolutely incredible is the Mazda RX-7. You probably expect me to say these are overrated too, but I don't believe they are. While they are quite popular thanks to Honda's iconic RX-7 in Tokyo Drift, their popularity doesn't come close to the popularity of the Supra and the Skyline, as well as even the Honda Civic and other JDM models. When you think of a rotary engine, or more commonly referred to as a Dorito engine, the first car that you think of is a Mazda RX-7. These cars were truly pioneers and were truly ahead of their time, not only in just the engineering but also the technology as well. The next car we've got is the Ford Crown Victoria. Now I know a lot of these were JDM type cars, so we're going to go with some good old-fashioned American muscle here. The Crown Victoria is, in my opinion, the greatest car to ever be manufactured. You don't agree with me? Go argue with the wall. I don't care. 4.6 liter V8, same engine as the Mustang, by the way, and about as reliable as you can get. You know, there's a reason that the police used to use these things. Unfortunately, these actually are getting more expensive, believe it or not, but not expensive to the point where it's outrageous. Again, you get what you pay for. Criminally underrated retro muscle car that I think should get more love and attention than it's been getting, but I'm completely fine with them staying under the radar. Less competition for me. Finally, we have a Tesla Model X, the first garbage car in the series. Number 1, electric cars suck. I will die on that hill. Number 2, Teslas are probably some of the most overrated and overhyped cars of this generation. People were so enamored with the autopilot self-driving, not realizing that the point of having a car is to drive it. People are so damn lazy that they buy cars that can drive themselves just so they don't have to go through the hassle of doing it anymore. The same way that people buy automatics because they don't want to go through the hassle of manually shifting the gears. Now, automatic transmissions are convenient, but you still have to drive them. People mainly get Teslas as status symbols, as you really only see influencers and celebrities really driving them. Case in point with the Cybertruck. I couldn't imagine paying $80,000 for that thing when I could get a Hellcat, a Z06, a Shelby GT500, you know, the cars that are actually fun to drive. Now don't get me wrong, the Tesla Plaid S is actually a pretty cool car. It's very quick and has all the technology that a Tesla has and actually looks fun to drive. Again, I prefer gas, specifically V8s due to the sound. But if you don't really care about engine sounds and you want a cool performance car with all the technology, I would look at the Tesla Plaid S. That's it for me though. Stay tuned for the next video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram. We just hit 500 followers and we're halfway to 1,000. With that being said, I'm out.